the only locally produced farm radio show with agricultural news, information, interviews, in-depth weather, and more. It's Terry Henne and his Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A partly sunny good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester. Clouds broke up as we went through the nighttime hours. A little bit of rain shower activity here in the Great Lakes Bay area. A lot more rain shower in southern Michigan. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But as we roll through the remainder of the day, we're going to see a little bit more in the way of sun, and our temperatures are going to continue to warm up as well. We'll talk about that in just a second. Very common to see 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch, maybe 3/10 of an inch in some spots. I was looking at some locations around the immediate Great Lakes Bay area, and I'm looking at 1/3 of an inch out at MBS International Airport. About 2/10 of an inch at the airport in Midland. Huron County, looking at a little bit more. They had some precipitation that came across Saginaw Bay late yesterday, last night. So over the last 24 hours, Bad Axe had about 4/10 of an inch. Fillion better than a 1/2 inch. Port Austin was looking at about 2/10 of an inch as well. Saginaw County, a little bit different story. 4/10 of an inch in the Frankenmuth area. The back 40 in Richville, I'm looking at about 3/10 of an inch there. Saginaw, 3 different reporting stations, and all of them with different rainfall amounts. One location had just under 4/10. Another location had a little bit better than a 1/2 inch. And then another reporting station here in Saginaw, almost 3/4 of an inch. Carroll looking at a 1/2 inch. Cass City just under a 1/2 inch. Then you get a little bit further south, Genesee County, 1/3 of an inch to 2/3 to 3/4 of an inch from the reporting stations down there. Lapeer coming in at 4/10 of an inch. You go a little bit further east, and that's where the rain starts to pick up a little bit in intensity from late yesterday afternoon through the overnight hours. Algonac picking up almost 1.2 inches of rain. And there were a number of reporting stations over in that part of the state around Algonac, north of Detroit, that were reporting at least an inch of rain. Chelsea had an inch right on the even mark. Manchester, only 1/4 of an inch. Saline, about 0.15 of an inch. I did notice that the Dearborn location of U of M reported almost 1.5 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Take a look up north. Gaylord, about a 1/2 inch of rain. 0.15 in Gladwin. Standish picking up about 0.18 of an inch. West Branch, just a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. But you go a little bit further north, and you saw more in the way of rain in the gauge in northern Michigan. Roscommon, about a 1/2 inch. Atlanta reporting somewhere around 0.6 of an inch of rain. So what are we looking at? Well, Southwest Michigan once again seems to be leading as far as moisture goes. Kalamazoo, 1.7 inches of rain. Battle Creek, 1.5 inches. Jackson, 1.25 inches. Ionia, not nearly as much, about 1/4 of an inch there. But Benton Harbor, 2.25 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. That system that moved through Wisconsin, northern portions of Illinois, moved across southern Lake Michigan, and then into that southwestern corner of the Lower Peninsula. They had strong gusty winds right along the Michigan border with Indiana and Ohio. So there was some damage done, and there were a number of folks that had power loss during that period of time as well. Just to kind of give you an idea of Van Buren County alone, we're looking at rainfall amounts in South Haven of a 1/2 inch. Lawton, Michigan, in Van Buren County, almost 3 inches of rain officially. Keeler, about 1.8. Hartford in Van Buren County, looking at just under 2 inches of rain. And in Berrien County, Waterville reported 1.75 inches. What's going to be happening? Unsettled air, but not enough to really create much more than maybe just a sprinkle here and there as the day goes on today. We'll see our humidity levels continue to weigh rather high, rather sticky for this time of the year. Matthew Lester, what are we looking at as far as temperature and humidity right now?
Right now, over at the airport, it's partly sunny at 77. Over in Midland, it's partly sunny at 79. Here at Radio Center, it's partly sunny at 77. We have southwest winds at 15, gusting up to 25 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 29.75, and it's rising.
84 is what we're looking at by the time the day is all done. A west breeze, possibly gusting up to about 20 miles per hour. We have seen some southwest gusts of better than 25 so far. 62 for a low tonight. There will be a spotty shower around again early tomorrow morning, but that chance will be very brief and very light and extremely isolated. During the day tomorrow, my guess is we won't hit 80 degrees after that chance of a spotty shower real early in the morning. Sun as the day goes on. High pressure system will be moving in over western Iowa, and it will be bringing in a little bit cooler air because a cold front will have moved through the state and will be well to the east and south of us. 79 for a high tomorrow, 56 for a low tomorrow night with a northwest wind about 15, 17 miles per hour. And during the day on Thursday, mostly sunny skies, cooler still, 76 for a high, 53 for a low. We'll have a light north wind on Thursday, 5, 7, 8 miles per hour. That's going to be it. Friday, more of the same, sunshine. Mid to upper 70s, I think we'll probably clock out at about 78, 79 degrees for a high on Friday. Clear skies Friday night, 58. Then moving into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the chances of precipitation are very light, extremely light, if non-existent. Low to mid 80s during that period of time. Again, that's Sunday through Monday of next week. Now, temperatures normally should be 83. I'm looking at those temperatures normaling out as we move into the work week next week, pretty much all of next week. And I don't look for the above average temperature trend to kick in till toward the end of next week, all the way through the period to take us from the 21st to the 29th average as far as the moisture goes. Record high in this state, incidentally, is 98 degrees, set in 1931. The record low, 45, set in 1912 and tied in 1946. A year ago, 81 was our high, 63 was our low. We had no precipitation. And for the 16th of January, the warmest ever was set 11 years ago, 2013. 94 was our high, 74 was our low. The coldest ever, 16th of July, was set back in 1940. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, who do we have, Matthew?
Up next, we have Abby Terwilliger from the Andersons, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
But before we get to them, we want you to remember the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth. Those Farmall tractors, they'll do it. Whatever you need to be done, they've got just the right Farmall tractor at Weiss Equipment to take care of that job quickly and easily. They're going to pair you up with the right models, so they're going to save you a little bit of money and also give you possibly a really good financing deal on that Farmall tractor as well. Anywhere from the value-packed compact Farmall A to the deluxe compact Farmall C and C series with cabs. Remember, the tractor does it all. So no matter what you're doing, Can Do comes in red, and it's called Farmall. See them today at Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, doing it right longer. Say good morning to Abby Terwilliger over at the Andersons. Abby, I hope you're having a good day so far.
So far, so good, Terry. Be a little better if the markets were a little bit higher to make up for yesterday, but I will take what we can get.
Well, at least soybeans and corn are heading in the right direction.
Yes, it is. And I mean, wheat is down 4.5, but it's better than the 20-some that soybeans was down yesterday.
We really took a hit yesterday, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
It's going to take a few days. Unfortunately, it always goes down faster than it comes up.
Yeah, if we could have a couple days of rallies in the 20s, that would be very beneficial, and I think I'd have a lot more happy farmers to talk to.
Well, right now, they're happy if they got their wheat off. They're not so happy if they're taking a look at some of the diseases that are showing up in some of our fields right now. We need some cooler air, and it looks like we're going to get it here coming up the next few days.
Yes. I know there's been a lot of talk about tar spot, and then also the beginning stages of talking about VOM and corn again. So, we're getting into that silking period, which is when a lot of that VOM can start to, be produced.
I'm just wondering how long it's going to take before we start seeing some airplanes flying around.
I know I talked to one person today that the airplane was supposed to be on his field, but it hadn't quite showed up yet. So they are out and about.
Okay.
Starting.
Well, that's good news. Hopefully we can keep this thing under control. This is probably one of the biggest tar spot outbreaks that we've had for a while.
Yeah. Fortunately, in this area, I haven't heard a whole lot of my farmers talk about it. I mean, I'm sure it's there, and I know in other counties it's definitely, picking up. But fortunately, right here close to Hemlock, I haven't heard a whole lot.
So right now on the board, what have you got?
Right now on the board, old crop corn, 329, new crop, 342, old crop soybeans, 1102, new crop, I hate even saying this, 982, red wheat, 447, and white wheat, 502. So
what do we owe this little uptake to?
The soybean market, I think it's just making up a little bit for for yesterday, sorry. Making up a little bit there. The trade guesses came in, they were a little bit higher than what was actual for reporting on like the crush. And then our markets are good to excellent. Both corn and soybeans across the country have stayed at 68%. And I mean, there's some storms going through. Obviously, Iowa just got some yesterday, but there's still a lot of good corn out there and a lot of corn getting carried in.
I'm looking at a pretty major system in Missouri right now, right in the center of the state. It's flickering, so obviously there's a lot of lightning, thunder, that sort of stuff. And from what I'm gathering, it looks like some pretty red colors there. So they've got more water working there.
Yes. So I mean, maybe we'll see a little bit, but I know I have heard. I mean, obviously I've been doing this for a very long time, only a year, but a lot of times the weather scares to get the market is in June and the first half of July, and now somehow we've already managed to make it to the second half of July. So not sure how much the weather is going to have an effect on it.
Abby, you take care. Have a good one, okay?
You too, Terry. Thank you.
And keep working at those markets, all right?
Hey, I'll try.
All right. Abby Twilliger over at the Andersons. A little bit more in depth as far as what's going on. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer is along with us right now. The Market Report brought to you by Michigan Truck Spring of Saginaw, your complete parts and service headquarters for light, medium, and heavy-duty truck and trailers, as well as buses and recreational vehicles. Quality parts and service at very competitive prices for well over 45 years. 800-358-4751 or buy online at truckspring.com. And don't forget they're open till 11 p.m. weekdays. Market Report also brought to you by Krejak's House Family Restaurant, corner of Cass in Michigan on Bay City's south side. You got an event coming up, 989-894-5531. And yeah, your event will go over big when you get the food from Krejak's House. Great place to dine in as well. Give them a call, reserve a table, or better yet, just stop by. They're ready to serve you. 989-894-5531. Morning, Doug. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How you doing?
Not too bad. Kind of a busy morning for us. Gave away half a ton of potatoes this morning.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Oh yeah, we had a good crowd of people that stopped by. It was a lot of fun. It's always good to see a lot of folks enjoy the potatoes and the potato chips from Better Made and talk about the festival. It's coming up, 69th annual festival next week.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's great. So I wish the guys in Chicago were celebrating a little bit more.
Well, yeah, but crude oil's down $1, so that's okay with me. Gold hit an all-time high. Well, I don't think it's an all-time high. I think it's a one-year high today. So that's trading at $24.78. That's getting up there. Interestingly enough, lumber was $625 in March, dropped to $425 yesterday. So that's really fascinating to me. Jumping up above $40 overnight here. So obviously it's a very volatile market, but just interesting how the housing markets, not only here but Canada or elsewhere, and with the interest rates and things like that, how it affects the lumber prices. And also copper at $4.44. That's come down probably a solid 20 cents in the last week or so, and that's got a lot to do with the building trades. But elsewhere, the Dow Jones hit an all-time high today. That's up almost 500 points right now. It was over 600 points not too long ago. Bank of America had earnings, I believe, and they hit an all-time high today. So, they're making solid money on the money that they're loaning out. The Russell hit a new high today. The small cap, mid cap indexes hit new highs today. The S&P got close, but not quite, and the Nasdaq is down a little bit. Some of the momentum may be gone in the Magnificent Seven, but it could just be hiding for now. So, yeah, I wouldn't venture to guess which way that whole thing is going to go in the short-term future. Anyway, we'll see. Here's your numbers. The September corn is 394.5, up 4. December corn 407.5, up 3 1/4. August soybeans 1091 3/4, up 13 3/4. The November soybeans 1046 3/4, up 6 3/4. The September wheat 528, down 4 1/2, and December wheat 552 3/4, down 3 1/2. The crude oil is 79.79, down $1.05. Heating oil 248.23, down 4 1/2 cents. Gasoline is 246.73, down 2 1/4 cents. Should put us around 310. Hint, hint. Natural gas is 2.23. That's up 5 1/2 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys $1.3684 Canadian. That's virtually unchanged. The dollar buys 158.53 yen. That's up 52 ticks. The euro's at 108.83, down 11 ticks. And the dollar's at 104.38, up 20 ticks. Gold's at 24.8120, up 39.10 an ounce. Silver's 31.56, up 62 cents. Platinum's at $1,009.60, down $1.40, and copper's at $4.45, down 7.6 cents.
You have a good one, Doug.
Thanks, you too.
All right, talk to you later. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor. New parts for old tractors made easy. And Steiner wants to invite each and every one of you to stop by next week to Caro, Tuscola County Fair, the 143rd annual fair. Lots of activities for the kids, lots of activities for the grown-ups. Everything kicks off with harness racing, which is going to take place this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Fair events. For more information, just like them on Facebook. Check them out, Tuscola County Fair. For all those parts, 800-234-3280 to order those, or go online at steinertractor.com. Say good morning to Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Jerry, what should we be aware of right now?
Well, about last call for trimming those spring flowering shrubs. So last call for spring flowering shrubs, lilac, forsythia, all those things that bloom very early. We should be getting them done by now, because otherwise we're going to be, if we wait too long, they're setting their buds and we'll be cutting them off.
We don't want to do that.
We don't. Most of the reason we buy shrubs that flower is for their flowers. So pruning at proper timing is imperative for that. Now, you won't kill the plant by trimming it at the wrong time. You'll just diminish the flower. It'll be fine. It'll grow and be healthy. And sometimes when the pruning is that drastic that you need to do, just sacrifice a year's bloom to get it going on the right leg again.
Yep. I learned my lesson the hard way.
We learn lessons all kinds of ways, Terry.
Oh, man. That was about as hard as you can get. I had the wrath of the whole family when I did it once, and that was it. No more of that.
Some of those shrubs, Terry, like forsythia and even lilac, a lot of the ones with many, many canes, you can cut them flush to the ground, and I do mean flush to the ground, and they'll resprout and come back up, but only if they're healthy. And if you do that, I would do that in the dormant period, and I would fertilize them prior to doing that in like September. Let them get those roots engorged with energy. So next spring, when they're looking for the buds and they go, I'm not there, I'll form new buds and send up new growth. And if they've gotten way too out of hand for you, you can start them over again.
Good advice. Jerry, thank you. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
All right, and I'm glad you enjoyed our Essexville-Hampton Township area giving potatoes away today.
It was fun. A lot of fun. Talk to you later. Jerry Samowski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Craig Voorhees from the Rummel Agency with us right now. And Craig, let's talk a little bit about forming LLCs and estate planning.
Right, Terry. Good morning. I've had a couple conversations lately with customers that are doing all of that. They've formed some new LLCs. Some folks have established some trusts. And whenever you do any of those things, you want to let your insurance company know, or your agent, that you've put those things in place. It's an easy thing to do to add both the LLC and the trust to the policy. It typically doesn't cost anything, but you definitely want those entities to get all the protection from the policy that it can, mainly the liability coverage, so that the assets in those entities are protected.
Yeah, a lot of folks really don't think of it.
No, they don't. And I don't know what the reason is, but it's been coming up a lot in conversation here the last couple of weeks. So I thought we should maybe talk about it today.
Yeah, good advice. Good thought. Craig, you take care. We'll talk to you again in a couple, okay?
All right. Sounds good, Terry.
You bet. Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Let's talk a little bit more about things involved with property. Farmland preservation agreements. Eric Sawatsky with Yo and Yo Accounting joining me right now. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Terry.
Let's talk a little bit about those agreements, Eric.
Yeah, the Farmland Preservation Agreement is a public act that was set up many years ago to allow farmers, or any farmland owners, to enter into an agreement with the state stating that they're going to keep that in farm or agricultural use and not develop it for a certain period of time. The advantage to doing so is that once you have an agreement in place, you potentially can get pretty significant credits on your tax return for the property taxes you pay on that land. So to do so, there are a couple things you want to consider before entering into an agreement. One is that you are willing to set that land aside specifically for ag use for the full period you're agreeing to. You don't want to back out early on those agreements, or you could end up paying back property taxes and possibly penalties and interest to the state. And then also you want to look at your tax situation, because it's kind of an inverse relationship. The higher your income is, the lower the credit can be. And then you also want to make sure you have enough land in the agreement to make sure that you can get a significant credit. So a little bit of planning you want to do before you jump into one of these agreements, because it is a long-term commitment, and you want to make sure it does what you're thinking it'll do for you.
Yeah, you don't want to have second thoughts once you enter that agreement. It's going to wind up costing you.
For sure.
Eric, you take care.
Terry,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to mention also, there is a similar agreement out there that the state has for forestry land as well. So if you have wooded property that you're planning to keep that way, I think one of the only things you really need besides that is to have some kind of forestry management plan, which you could get an arborist to do that for you. And then you can get kind of a similar tax credit through an agreement with the state on forested land as well.
Good advice. You take care. We'll talk to you again soon, Eric. Thank you.
You too, Terry.
All righty. Eric Swatsky with Yo and Yo. Let's slide over to New York. Doug Klein alluded to the fact about what the Dow was doing these past couple of weeks or so. Teresa at Baird & Company joining me right now. What is going on in New York right now, Teresa?
Good morning. We're having a nice rally today with the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 503 points at 4714, 280 million shares traded. The NASDAQ up 2 at 18,475 with 429 million shares traded. Some stocks of local interest include Caterpillar at 357.42, up 11.65, Deere 377.10, up 5.43, CMS Energy 60.88, up 57, Dow 54.20, up 93, DuPont 81.82, up $1.62, Corteva 53.62, up 72, General Motors 49.60, up 30, Trinzio 287, up a dime, Walmart 69.95, up 34, Huntington Bank 14.11, up 38, Independent Bank 30.44, up 8, and AT&T at 18.76, up 18, all green on my screen right now.
There
Terry.
you go. Good news. You take care, Teresa. Thank you.
You bet. Take care. Bye-bye.
You bet. We'll be right back.
These tractors are the benchmark of real utility. New Holland Workmaster Series 55, 65, and 75 tractors from Allen's Equipment in McBain, Beal City, and Ithaca bring together high quality and low ownership costs to maximize your productivity. With up to 75 horsepower, a power shuttle, and less maintenance and downtime, you'll get more done faster. Add in all-weather cab with seating for two, and you've got a tractor that delivers real value. See a Workmaster utility tractor today at Allen's Equipment in McBain, Beal City, and Ithaca.
We'll be back at 12:30 with an update. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coins in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios. WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland. WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News.